Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Valley News Live at 6 o'clock. Just got a severe thunderstorm watch issued for our far southern counties for the storms that we're tracking right now through South Dakota. But you can see how crystal clear those skies are in Grand Forks. Definitely a change from where they were yesterday. Big thanks to our friends up there at the Home Economy for giving us this view of how things look in the northern valley. Notice the wind up there, not quite as busy as it is elsewhere across the region. So when we say there's some conditions that need to be met for storms to happen in our region here this evening, the sun and the heat are two of the big things we're tracking for you. And of course, if that cap that acts as kind of a stable barrier on top of the atmosphere can be broken, are two of the big question marks that we've been watching for you all afternoon. So of course, we got some sun, we got some heat. Now the question is, can that energy be enough to break through that cap? Now, if they are met, of course, that's when we can see some isolated supercells with some very large hail up to 2 inches or more in diameter, damaging winds, and maybe a possible tornado. It's a non-zero tornado threat, especially in the early cycle of these storms, that we could see a brief spin up if we do indeed see these storms developing. You can see there's those clouds and showers exiting off toward the east with just bright blue sky left behind for everybody else with those showers exiting. But the temperatures, look at how quickly we're moved into those mid 80s in Fargo, low 90s in Oaks, 100 degrees even in Sisseton, but still seeing those 60s across our eastern counties where clouds kept those temperatures muted this afternoon, to say the least. But with the wind, that's a south wind for most of us, bringing that warm air, that humidity in to our neck of the woods, which would help to feed these storms if they do indeed break through that cap on our atmosphere. It's like a blow dryer down there in Sisseton, gusting 31 miles per hour at 100 degrees. Definitely a toasty one for our friends south. But notice Grand Forks, not quite as windy, single-digit wind speeds up toward the north. Here's our look at that atmospheric cap. I have this looped for the last 3 hours. Notice it was a deeper blue, but now we're starting to see that become a lighter blue. So there is some progression toward that cap eroding across our region. And of course, watching that very carefully, that if that cap does indeed weaken enough to that energy, of course, we'll have those supercells developing. But we're seeing that cap broken off toward the south, plenty of energy down toward Pierre. That's where that severe thunderstorm watch has been extended now into eastern South Dakota, where some severe storms are ongoing there near the Pierre area. Of course, at this hour, temperatures in the south, that 84 degrees Fargo, 82 degrees across the river in Moorhead. Note that dew point at 60 degrees, quite a bit more humid than what we saw yesterday. So that humidity with that southeast wind really is picking up. And for Grand Forks, again, we saw how much calmer that wind was, only around 11 miles per hour sustained there, but dew points even up toward the north in the low 60s as well. So a little bit sticky with that humidity out and about. So here's that severe storm risk. That yellow you see there is a slight risk of severe weather. Notice out here that deeper green, that marginal risk. Those are areas where it's just too cool, have too much of a cap on the atmosphere, where we have that sunshine, that heat, that humidity. That's where that yellow is. Notice, of course, off toward the south, that orange is the enhanced risk, which is where those storms are occurring as we speak. So we're still watching for that threat of severe storms. If they do develop, of course, watching for that a moderate risk of hail up to 2 inches and damaging winds up over 70 miles per hour. Not looking like a flooding situation here. These look very isolated in nature, moving pretty quickly, so could see some heavy downpours, but flooding not a concern for us. And of course, we're watching for that non-zero tornado threat with this as well. But of course, here's a look at what we're expecting. Here's 7:45. Things stay pretty quiet, but after 8 o'clock, that's when we could see some of those storms pushing into our region that could be strong to severe, and they move up from South Dakota. Notice I just saw that severe thunderstorm watch extended now into our southern valley counties. Of course, I'll get the details on that and get you the update. But of course, have your VNL weather app handy all night long, especially if you're away from your TV. We'll keep you updated. Guys, we're cooler tomorrow, low 80s, but then a weekend looking mainly dry, a few pop-up storm chances for the holiday.
It's been changing quickly tonight.
Yeah, but we're on top of it.
All right, thanks, Nathan.
The Moorhead man who spent time helping Ukrainians continues to do so. Up next, what he's planning here at home and in Ukraine.